Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel, and today we are going to solve a problem called debounce. So first read the statement and then I will explain you what debounce is and then implement the code part. So first we have given a function fn and a time in milliseconds t, and we have to return a debounce version of that fn function. And what a debounce function is? A debounce function is a function whose execution is delayed by t milliseconds and whose execution is cancelled if the again called function falls within the window of time, and the debounce function should also receive a past parameters. For example, this is our example. So let's first understand why we use debounce. So take a scenario where there is a search field inside a website and a user types some keywords. So let's say I type MIL. So first, if I type M and we don't want to show the results immediately, the users end typing M. We want some delayed because user can type next letter, and also delayed so user can type next letter, and if user is delaying too much after let's say 10 milliseconds, so I will show him the results. So this is the example case. There are some more cases you can read about on, yeah, there is an article from free code camp. This is a good source for debounce. You can explore this. I will leave the link in the comments. So yeah, let's get back to a problem. The example here is saying that t is 50 milliseconds and function was called as 30, 60 and 100 milliseconds. So first function was called at 30 milliseconds and it is delayed to by 50 milliseconds. So the function is now scheduled to be executed at 80 milliseconds, and the second call is at 60 milliseconds. So this call falls within the first window, so this will will get cancelled, and the next call 60 milliseconds and it is now delayed by 50 milliseconds. So this is now scheduled for 110 milliseconds and we are calling 100 milliseconds, and this also falls within the second call window. So then second will and first are cancelled, and the third call is delayed to 150 milliseconds to be executed. So finally our last call gets executed and it will be executed at 150 milliseconds, not exactly 150. Some execution time 1 or 2 milliseconds will also be counted in this. So I hope you understand the first example. And if I replace this 50 milliseconds with the t equal to 35 milliseconds, and the first call is at 30 milliseconds, so it now delayed to 30 plus 35 milliseconds, so it is scheduled to be executed at 65 milliseconds, and next time we are calling again at 60 milliseconds. So this falls within the debounce window which is scheduled for 65 milliseconds. So now first call will get terminated. So here you see first call is cancelled and the next call is scheduled for execution for 60 plus 35 which is 95 milliseconds, and again we are calling our phone we are triggering at 100 milliseconds. So the next call is not falling within 95 milliseconds. So yeah, second call will get executed and the third call is scheduled to be run at 100 plus 35 which is 135 milliseconds. So yeah, it will also get executed. So hope you get the intuition behind the problem, and let's see how to implement our code part. So for the from the example you see that we are cancelling the previous call. So we will use set timeout for this. So let's create a timer for this and we will use this timer inside this function. So first, for every new call we are clearing our previous call, so we will use clear timeout and pass it timer, and next we are assigning timer to a new set it timeout. So set timeout, and inside set timeout I am returning an function which is fn and which is accepting some arguments and which is delayed after t milliseconds. So yeah, this is the simple code and let's run it. Yeah, it got accepted. So first if you want write down, we can simply, here t is 50 milliseconds and the first call is called at 50 milliseconds. So now it is scheduled to be executed at 100 milliseconds, and next we are calling at 75 milliseconds. So 75 milliseconds fall inside the window of 100 milliseconds. So the first call will get cancelled and the next call is scheduled to be at 75 plus 50 yani 125 milliseconds. So yeah, and after this we have no call onwards. So the next call will be executed at 75 plus 50 plus some execution time, which will give us 126 milliseconds, and the input is 2, so we'll get input as 2. And yeah, that's it. And we can also implement this using set interval function. So you can read the editorial for this, and hope I was able to explain this properly. And if you find this helpful, please leave a like and also subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed this channel yet. So yeah, that's for it. See you in next video, and let me submit the solution. So yeah, it got accepted. And yeah, let's wrap up this video. Thanks for watching.